one of the things, so if you don't know what exposition means, in a story, particularly a science fiction and fantasy story, you are going to have to, as a writer, bring the reader up to speed on a ton of things. We call this a learning curve. Every story has a learning curve. The more sci-fi fantasy-ish it is, the steeper your learning curve, because the higher, the more you're going to have to learn to be brought up to speed. If you are reading a story about a student at BYU who is taking a science fiction fantasy class and trying to write their first novel, your learning curve, the point that you have to get to, is not so high, the amount you have to learn. You already know all of this, you as a reader. Now, someone from another country who has never heard of this might have a steeper learning curve. So you can't make it perfect for every reader, but understand that, right? Historicals tend to have a steeper learning curve. Things that are very narrow in a genre tend to have a steeper learning curve because you can rely on other things, other books the reader has read, and sci-fi fantasy tends to have a steeper learning curve. You can make the learning curve more shallow by not front-loading exposition and by using exposition well. Exposition, when we use classic exposition, it is when the reader, the character basically, either in first person or in third person, gives a big paragraph explaining, well, the gods were like this and they did this so that we have this, so that we have this, now this, and the magic works like this, and blah, all of this stuff. You generally want, as a writer, to do everything you can to make your learning curve more shallow without impacting the subgenre and art that you're trying to make.